Hello, this is Hiroshi Hayashi, Hamama City, Japan. And hello, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, UK. Thank you very much for a comment to my YouTubes, and here is my answer to your questions. And I really appreciate your kind and gentle advices to me. I have no idea to offend you, and I am peace in peace. I mean, rest in peace. This is a letter from you because I have to show you a letter because YouTube readers want to know how you think about me. So, excuse me to introduce your mails to me. But remember that I'm not offended at all, but I really appreciate, and it's my pleasure that I can show you mails like this way. And Japanese readers and their subscribers would understand you very much. From these sentences, I can know that you're very gentle and or a gentleman, like an English gentleman, and I'm very glad that you know you are a professional artist, and you give me such and such advice to me. So I have no idea anyway to argue you in waste and in vain. But I have to try to explain how I have become to think that sculptures in ancient Greeks are created by 3D photograph technologies. And this is a very long one, but I just make it fast, three by three, and I have to explain this fact very quick. Anyway, can you understand me, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson? I like you. Some people very criticize me very harshly, but you're very gentle. So I like to answer you back in a manner of you, right? Well, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, I really appreciate your kindness and glad both of us are in peace and exchange our opinions in this way. And Mr. Robinson, please watch this. Be patient a bit because this video is long enough, about 1 hour, 1 hour long. So be patient to watch. So I would like to explain the reason why I become to think so. You need some patience to listen to me, right? And this is these two sculptures. I don't. These got as you know names of. But it doesn't matter about the names and who made this and how they are created. But they are very similar to each other. This is what I found, and both are excavated in very different places. And this is another. These are statues also excavated in. And somewhere, and maybe you better, you know much better than I do, so you don't need my explanations. But remember that these are not mode. This is the sort of some of them are created of marbles, right? So you can't use the sort of technique of mode technique. And I found very quite similarity to each other, right? The right one is created by Michelangelo, yes. And also here in Japan, now we have a sort of a 3D photo technologies like these, very, very nicely. And the story starts from here. Okay, first, this is I say fake because these are created improper words, sorry, but these are created by 3D photo technology, so I say fake. Lady A, have a look at this. Lady A, Lady B, and Lady C, right? Three of them are exactly the same, and Lady D, and this Lady E is similar to the other three, and have compare these to three sculptures. I know you know they are the same ladies, except they are almost the same, but there is some time intervals. But hairs are different. Do you know why hair is different? Hairs are different because with even the 3D photo technologies, you can't sculpt hairs exactly the same way because hairs are so fine, you understand? So in Japan too, when you made sculptures with 3D photo technologies, here's hair patterns. You have to use another database as to the hair pattern. So hairs are different. In this case, you said sort of in ancient times, sculpted sculptures exactly as a master did, but why not about hairs? Okay, these are two sculptures with the same datas. A bit broken on the waist, but why could they make such same sculptures? In more ancient times, they sculpted very, very similar or very exactly same sculptures like these. But a little bit later on, they changed a little bit different ones. These are, of course, made of marbles, not sort of bronze. So you can't use the mold technology, right? And they added some changes or differences, but have like this leg. Leg is the same in the same position in the same way, so exactly the same. But the other part of the body is a bit different because motions have been added, and here have a look at these faces of these ladies, but clothes are different, but the faces are the same. Because they use the same database, I thought, and these are the same ladies as you see now here. But hairs are different. Why? Because they couldn't use the database of hair because hairs are so fine. You can't sculpt hair one by one, so they needed to put another database onto the head. Can you understand my poor English? What I want to say is that they sculpted the same sculptures, but not about the hair. Hair is very difficult to sculpt because they are so fine. These are sort of Venus de Milo. We call them Venus de Milo. Maybe you got Aphrodite or some different names in the UK. But these are sort of the left one is. And also Dianna is a very well-known sculptures. One is created in a Roman period and empire by Roman Empire. But let's have a look at the foot, right? Exactly the same, but hairs are different. Why? Why did they change the hair? This is what I want you to know, right? These are two Aphrodites, right? Venus de Milo. But they have a different hair. If you are correct, why didn't they create the same hair? Okay, this is Aphrodite and Milo, Venus. We call it the Venus in the Milo, Aphrodite. And this sculpture was found in Milo Island of Milo. That is explaining. That is what I explained in Japanese. And compare these sculptures. One is on the right side is made of bronze, about 3 BC, and the left one is this is it, 113 BC. Okay, you can copy from the marble sculpture to bronze sculpture, but not vice versa. And have a look at the hair. Hairs are different. Why? Why hairs are different? This is one of the evidence that they are created with 3D photograph technologies, because they couldn't use the same hair sculptures of hair because the hairs are so fine. Just to think about the 3D photograph technologies. Here in Japan too, we can produce sculptures now with 3D photo technology, but hairs are too difficult to sculpt, so they modified or changed hair, but the lines they're exactly the same. But they took a sort of a 3D photograph database at some time intervals, so a bit different. And here's you can see the foot, but you cannot see the foot here. Okay, here is okay. So they took a 3D database and some intervals, but they are created with the same database. My conclusion is this: 3D photographs are taken at the same time, some bit time intervals. Yes. This is what I want you to know, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson. I'm not offended. Sorry. Don't misunderstand me. This is the Gandhara Buddha, one of the most well-known sort of representative Gandhara Buddha, and hair pattern is exactly the same. Why? Because they use the same database onto their heads. I examined, but bolder finer, there is some random sort of numbers multiplied onto these hairlines, but just I compared each one of the hair, and I found this hair pattern is exactly the same. Why? The distance between over 4,000, probably 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers between them, Gandhara Buddha and sculptures in Greece. And I can show you more evidence. Please, Robinson, please be patient before you think that I'm wasting my time and intellect. I'm showing the fact, and I'm changing the history of the word. I need time. Okay, have a look at this. The face is the same, but hairs are different. This is very important. Okay, and the sculptors are different. Why? I think these are same sculptors. And these are another examples that, okay, this is very important one, right? Maybe you see that these are created by mode technology, right? Okay, they're exactly very, very similar to each other, as you see here, okay? But the size is different, okay? Have a look. Exactly the same. Legs, but 21 centimeters and 63 centimeters, just 1/3 size of the right one, and this one looks the same with the same bodies. If you're a man, you can understand that these three ladies are the same ladies with same bodies, but bit different to each other. Why? But here, look at it here, right? If they are the same lady, why don't they have the same hair? Because hairs are not sculpted with 3D photograph technologies. Very slightly different to each other. They are both are made of marbles. Look at these two sculptures. So I found many facts like these, and I become to think that these are created with the technology, 3D photograph technologies. Okay, hairs are different, but the body is the same. Why? And the nipples and the breasts are the same, but one of them is sort of a back to front. Why? And different hairstyle. Why? If they needed to sculpt the same sculptures, why didn't they just sculpt the same hair pattern? Okay, this is a standing Buddha, which is very well known and the most important sculptures here in Tokyo National Museum. And why? Why there are three? And why there are plural number of sculptures at the same time? And I examined many sculptures before I became I drew a conclusion that they are sculpted with 3D photo technologies, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson. I'm not sure to temper it. I needed many hours to get in the conclusions. So I'm not wasting my time because I think it is important to examine them very precisely. So I didn't waste my time. But I just want you to think things with your common sense. Okay? I collected these photographs taking a long time, spending a long time. And hair patterns are different. Why? Hair patterns are different. Why? But they are the same man. These two ladies are the same too. But underwear shirt is the same. Why? Underwear shirt, I found these two ladies wear the same underwear shirt, but different. Why? If you are very obedient to sculptures, why don't you make the exactly same sculptures? And right one is a well-known Nikkei, right? Nike or Nikkei. And I think the Nikkei is a bit broken, but they are the same ladies, made from the same database. And someone broken the face. Why? And also I collected these photographs from the ancient Greek sculptures, and they got the same legs. If you're a sculptor, can you do this? So precisely the same from any directions. Legs are very and slightly different to each other. Why? And hairs are different too, right? Have a look at the hairs. And this is Aphrodite in middle. And marble, and this is bronze. From marbles you can mold to a bronze one, but vice versa, it's impossible to copy from bronze to marble with mold technology. But these are same ladies. I want you to know this fact. Because you're very, I think, influential man in England or Britain or UK, I'm not sure, where's Scotland. I show you more and more fact. Please be patient, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson. I like you. Right? I'm not offended. I'm very peace. Oh, well, I'm not arguing you, and I'm not against you, because if you are me, I would think just like as you think about me, right? Okay, have a look at these two statues, and very strangely, they got the same blood vessels, and even at the same place, even the scars are here. You can see the same scars here. Why? But they got a different hair. Why didn't make the different hair? Though they got the same, exactly the same, vessels the same, but have a look at the hair, because they could not use a 3D photograph technology onto the hair. Nipples the same. Okay? But hairs are different. Why? Think. Why? This is very important, because they got a different hair. Why didn't change the hair like this way? Because they could not use the 3D photo technologies onto the hair. These two ladies are the same. They got the same body with nearly the same clothes, but hairs are quite different. Nipples are the same, but middle one is got a back to front model, right? So, how come could they make such a back to front model like this? They're the same ladies, okay? But they got a different hair. Why? They got the same face. Why? But they got a different hair. Why? Look. If you are correct, why did they change the hair pattern? Hair is very easy to copy, but they didn't copy the hair because they could not copy the hair. Because hair is very too fine to sculpt with 3D photograph technologies. So I collect more and more facts and pile them up to the ones that I concluded that I draw a conclusion that they are created with photograph technologies, 3D photograph technologies. Have a look at the hair, and pimples are same here at the same place. That means nipples are same, but one of them is back to front. Look, right? Same nipples. And I made it back to front. I mean, what Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, I want you to know that these two ladies are exactly the same as to the bodies and the clothes, except hair. But why? If they copied the masters' sculptures made by masters, why didn't they copy the hair? But these two ladies have got exactly the same pattern of hair. On the contrary, why? The number of hair and the position of the hair are the same, except border and finer and border finer, because they change the sort of a bit database border and finer, but the number of hair and the pattern of the hair are exactly the same. Do you know this? Why? Because they use the same database onto these ladies. But ladies are different. So, as the same things I can say about Dianna statues. If they got the same, very same shoes strings, but they got a different hair. Why? This is man A. This is man B. And this is man C. Maybe probably Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, you misunderstand me because that I have drawn this conclusion in a very short time, but you are wrong. It took me a long time to examine these statues, sculptures, and examine these sculptures, and before I draw conclusions as these are created with the 3D photograph technology, I needed a long time. So I respect you, so I like you to respect me a little bit. A little bit, yes. But they got a different hair, right? This is very important. These sculptures are same man and with same body, but different in the pose. They moved their arms and the bodies a little bit, but okay. Now I want you to know that these models are the same man. But why our hairs are different? I'm just showing you they are very exactly similar, very much similar, more than similar. Okay, more than similar. But men moved a little bit. Look at the fingers, right, and hands, and this bit different. If you are correct, why did they change? They should have made exactly the same sculptures, but hairs are different because they couldn't sculpt the hair exactly the same. I say that this body is exactly the same. Okay, when you take a photographs of the man, these sculptures too, right, in Gandhara, they are quite similar and a little bit different from to each other, but okay, two of them got exactly the same hair patterns. Can you believe that? I examined them, the hairs. Again, this is woman A. This is woman B. And this is woman C. These clothes are made of silk, I found, from China, Silk Road. But they got a different hair. Why? Same body, same clothes, near almost the same clothes, but they got a different hair. Why? Please ask yourself why and why and why all the time. That's what I did. I'm sorry for my poor English. If I can, you're a Japanese speaking speaker, I can explain it a bit more precisely. But it's I'm sorry, I can't, because I haven't used English for a long time, since 1970. Right? I say this is one of them. The red one is back to front models, and the hair is different. How come? So, if you're a sculptor or an artist, can you say that you can use sculpt these clothes like this way, so finely, delicately or sophisticatedly made? And this is again, I show you another fact about these sculptures. Many these are the same man from the same model, right? The same man, but slightly different to each other. They moved a little bit up and down, but hairs are different. Have a look at the beard. They got all the different beards. Why? But the body is the same. Nipple is the same. Shoulder is the same. Even the scars on the shoulder is the same. Hands are a little moved. Hands are a little bit moved. No, they are not exactly the same. I'll show you. Looks very similar, but hairs are different. Why did they change the hairs? Why did they change the hairs? Because again and again I say, hairs cannot be sculpted with 3D photograph technologies. So they put another database onto beard and hair. Have a look. Bit different. Bit different. A bit different. This the same thing can be said about army terracotta in China. Vessels, okay, bones, muscles are exactly the same, but hairs are different. Exactly the same, near exactly the same, but hairs are different. Why? So please, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, could you please give me the reason why they changed the hair? They changed the hair, as you see here. If you say, if you are correct, why didn't they copy the hair? Here is very important to know my theory. or my no theories, or the reason why I think these are created with 3D photograph technologies. So I'm now showing you another examples. They are created with 3D photograph technologies. So you say there are hundreds of Michelangelos and hundreds of Michelangelos in ancient Greeks. Michelangelo started sculpting sculptures in around 1500 AD. So the point that I want you to know is that they got nearly the same bodies and the same clothes, but here's a different, because here's so fine to sculpt, too fine to sculpt with 3D photograph technology. Again and again and again, I repeat the same reason why I think okay. But sculptor didn't know what humans have got this, what sort of genital organ like this. So, I'm tired, so I'm speaking English. So, just think and judge by yourself. You be judge, you be the judge. So, again, these three men are the different men, the same men. Sorry, and you are correct if you say these sort of copies of others. But why they got a different hair? Or look at this hair, right? Because they did not have any choice to use a different pattern of hair about hair, because hair is so difficult to sculpt, so fine. So even the smallest part of the body is the same, but hairs are different. So, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, you say that I am been wasting my time and intellect, but before I conclude or draw a conclusion that they are created with 3D photo technology, I spent a lot of time, and but you didn't spend a lot of time to understand me. That's a pity, a very pity. I'm not such a easy man to think things, as you say, in a scientific fiction world. This is another thing that I want you to know, that I'm not such a sort of, how can I say, easy man, because I couldn't believe my eyes when I started examining these sculptures. So I examined again and again before I became to think that these are created with 3D photograph technologies. I'm not a novelist. I'm a writer, but I'm a sort of fiction writer. So I'm not thinking in a scientific fiction world. Anyway, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, what are you doing? Are you sculpting sculptures now, even still now? These are sculptures made in Gandhara. Two of them have got exactly the same hair patterns. Can you believe that? Exactly the same patterns of hair. Because they use the same database on the hair. Also, again, different here, but the same face, same shoulder, and the same body, and back to front breast. Bit. These two ladies moved a bit. That means these sort of 3D photograph database were taken at some time intervals. In Japan, the same thing. Archaeologists say that there are a lot of very very similar sculptures even in Japan, especially at Horyuji and Kofukuji. And the archaeologists explained just as you say, because sort of disciples or the student copied master's sculptures exactly the same. The same. It's very interesting to know that in England or Britain or UK, which one of them is correct to call your nation, but in UK, the same explanation are said both in Japan and in England, UK. In Japan too, archaeologists say the same thing. Mr. Hiroshi Hayashi, in ancient times in Japan, student copied master's sculptures. That's why there are very, very similar sculptures in Japan. So you say these are sculpted by the same sculptors or the different sculptures? One of them as a master and two other are a student? But here they got a different hairs and different beards. Why? Think about that. Why they got a different beard? So now I am repeating the same explanation here. Terracotta army were also made of 3D photo technology because they have, as I have proven, yes. So, what else can I say? So, how can you explain if I say these are created with 3D photograph technologies? Of course, they didn't have such a computerized technology in ancient times. Then, who made them? And how could they make them? So ask yourself. Then you will think that some very, very much intellectual beings like aliens did. That's why I use the words aliens or extraterrestrial beings. By the way, can you understand my English? My English is so poor and bad and very, I can say, in your word, some day, long time ago, an Australian young boy, said to me, "What do you think about my English?" I asked him, and the boy answered me back, "Yucky." my English is very yucky, I know. But Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, I've been teacher over 43 years, and have been teaching children between 4-year-old to up to 16 years old. So I think I'm not out of mind. In a sense, I'm sane. So don't misunderstand me that I am a sort of a crazy man. But what I want to know is that who is a God and if the real character of God. That's my sort of final aim. That why I've been doing this examinations as to the Greek sculptures in ancient times. And please come to my website, and I can show you more and more very surprising fact about ancient times. You get surprised if you know the fact. So, using my ideas, and please examine these sculptures as you like. In this two photographs, sculptures, I want to tell you that underwear shirts, as I have told you, are the same, but sort of overcoat are different. But pattern of the clothes is the same. So these two ladies were taking the photographs at some time intervals. See? They are not copies of each other. If they are copies, why? One of them has got a legs, foot, and another doesn't have got a foot. So I just imagine how they created. One sculptors made one sculpture, two sculptors sculpted two sculptors, or this is what I thought. Okay, one shot, budget. Okay, after some time lag, Aiden took another photograph, and they created it with 3D photograph technologies like this. Now we do that in Japan and in Hamamatsu, my city. This is very important. They're exactly the same, except the length of the nose. They're exactly the same. And Teoriwagan, and yes, the same. Dianna, two Diannas. And okay, this is very important. Chrstopher Robinson. They got the same hair patterns. I examined it many times. Why? We are cheated. In this video, I'd like to show you that Dianna sculpture, one of the most beautiful ancient Greece sculptures, are very. Dianna X has not been excavated, but there are two Diannas now. We can see this one came to Japan last year, and Dianna A came to Japan, and many people saw this. And Dianna B, bit different. Have a look at the head, right? A little bit upward. Very hard to find the differences, but they're not exactly the same. Have a look at the hair. They got a different hair patterns. Even though they got the same body and the same clothes, but hairs are different. Why? I'm not showing you the differences of the clothes. So pause this video if you are skeptical about what I'm saying. So again, I would like to know that I got a long history before I drew a conclusion. I think you think that I'm a sort of just draw a conclusion in a short time. No, no, no. That's wrong. Also, these two ladies got a same clothes, but they change a little bit. Nearly at the same time. Anyway, Mr. Chrstopher Robinson, I become a bit tired. So you're a professional and a specialist, and you're an artist. I know that. So I will show you these photographs, and you will understand how they are created, and think about this fact. And you say, I am wasting my time and intellect, but I'm afraid you will waste your time and intellect if you insist these are created by humans in ancient Greece, right? Or you will be in a labyrinth of mysteries forever long if you insist these are created by humans. If you insisted these are created by man, but I say from other fact, I can tell you that these are sort of aliens, sort of gods are aliens, and created by aliens with 3D photograph technology. You wanted to think that these are created by man, and the sculptures are man, but they're not. They're sort of a tall white, sort of gods of ancient Greece, or yes, that's my conclusion. So I've been I have no way anyway, no idea to stop my examinations or examining these sculptures for in the future, whatever you say. And thank you for again for your advice, but I don't think I will accept your advice. All right, because I think I am correct, right? Because I have no evidence, and I have proven it, taking a long time. But you are just starting, right? Thinking about these strange mysteries. So you need more and more time, as I did, before you drew conclusions that these are created by aliens with 3D photograph technologies. Well, can you understand me? Yes, as to the Dianna, even the strings of shoes is exactly the same, but hair pattern is different. Why? Okay, have a look at these shoes. So I have to say goodbye now because I'm very tired. And my wife is now says that now she's ready. Breakfast is ready now. Now these are sort of sculptures sculpted with 3D photo technology in Hamama City. Now it's a sort of now they're on sale. About 300,000 yen. So I say we are cheated. Another 5 or 10 years in the future, we can produce exactly the same sculptures with 3D photo technology. Then what would you say? Right. I have to go back so please enjoy the following videos, which you have another half an hour. So I have to say goodbye. Oh yes, to think in English is very hard job for me now, because I have to use another brain in my head. How can you explain this fact? This is the beginning of my sort of my wonders. They are exactly the same as you see, right? Except hairs. Look at the legs, exactly the same. No difference. 21 centimeters and 62 centimeters. They are not made of mold. Right? So, goodbye now. Bye.